Everyone, I am Bob.
I'm Carrie.
This is 25 Plus Life, and today, Carrie, we are coming to everyone from Vermont.
Yes.
We are in Lake Bomoseen.
Yes.
Thank you. Lake Bomoseen KOA here in Vermont. We're going to walk you through and give you a site tour as well as our thoughts on this very interesting, very unique KOA. A lot of firsts for us here as we travel the country with our Winnebago in tow. And so I'm going to try to give a semi-unbiased review here because I got a lot of things thinking. So stick around and we'll show you.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.
All right, first thing you notice as we come through the gate, there is a camp store. And I will say, probably one of the most well-stocked camp stores. On this side over here, you have Carrie. You also have an arcade, some mini golf inside as well. So, interesting thing about the gate is that it requires a gate card.
Yeah.
Which is something we haven't encountered before. And we didn't have advance notice of, but apparently bring cash because of a $10 cash deposit. So it's kind of, and it's, I'll get to the end with this. A lot of little oddities here. But here you come to the back side of the store. They have a little mining company. A little thing for the kids. You can play with sand and stuff, and like they looking for gold and stuff that you can find. The trash situation here in Vermont is weird too. They have a 30-yard roll-off container, a 15-yard roll-off container. The back of the store, you have to walk down. There's no trail, but you have to walk down there and deposit your trash. And also weird for Vermont, Carrie.
Yeah.
There's no recycling.
No.
And that's just one of those little weird things that I noticed too. Not a deal breaker for any stretch, but you know, yeah. So as far as the campground goes, it's got a very 50s vibe, right? So you have one or so of the newer model KOA trailers that they call cabins here. And you'll see that's probably one. It's the only one I've seen that's modernized. The rest of them, they're very old. But it gives it that weird, when you think camping on the lake, and you know, rustic and kind of weathered, it's kind of what the whole campground's like. Okay. So I'm gonna go down here, and I think what the big attraction to this area is, or for this KOA, is the lake access. Right? So here they have a small dock area, or what you would think they call it their Marina. So this is a KOA. The wind picks up. I tried my best here to get this going. They have a little playground down here, and they do have a small pool with a slide for the kiddies. They have a splash pad. So typical what you would expect from a KOA holiday, just on a smaller scale. So you know, this is probably one of the smallest pools we've seen at a KOA. But for us, it's not, again, that's not a deal breaker either, because we don't use the pools. I'm just gonna get out of the way as we have traffic coming down. I'm gonna walk you again down to the marina. They do offer kayak rentals, and I believe there's like some small rowboat rentals. There's a couple of companies on the lake that do pontoon boat rentals and stuff of that nature. So, but if you do have your own boat, you can bring that down. That's kind of the big selling point here, is if you need a campground and you have boat access, this is probably it, because from what we've seen on the lake, we've covered a few state parks here, but this was pretty much the only one that had real boat access. I think we saw that in Bomoseen State Park.
Yeah.
But again, if you need hookups and boat access, the KOA is really your only option. If I'm wrong and you know differently, please let us know in the comments below, because it does help us if we have all the information. So here to the right is one of those other newer style KOA cabins. And then you have your marina, and you do have the heavily vegetated lake on this side, but you can get out. As you see, they've cleared a path to get out into the waterway and whatnot, so which is really good. And they do have dock space, which is on a first come first served basis. I believe there's 2 docks here. But as far as Vermont goes, this you don't really get much more. This is Scenic Vermont, and this is, you know, it's absolutely beautiful. As far as, you know, right here in the mountains, you are about, was it about an hour and a half away from Ticonderoga, and those areas.
Castleton is right down the road.
Yeah, so you have a different feel here. If you so you get close to the New York border, upstate, and then as far as Vermont goes, you have Castleton. Fairhaven is probably, I think, the closest that we've seen that had. They had a supermarket, and if you're in the area and you're looking for some Chinese food,
Oh my goodness, it was great.
I believe it's called China City in Fairhaven, which was phenomenal. Some really nice folks there. We did some takeout as usual on Friday night, which was great. Cost-wise, wasn't bad. The 2 of us, a couple of combination meals, like
$24.
24. I'm gonna get out of the way here. It is Vermont, so in Vermont, they don't wait for you. They'll plow you over. So, and I say that with love and kindness. But when we were shooting video down south, everybody kind of gets out of your way and they do their thing. Up here in New England, boy, they'll run you down. They don't care. But you have a few of these sites here. Some of them appear to be long-term or seasonal sites. From what I can see here, most of the sites here have all full hookups, unless I missed something. There's full hookups. You have your water, sewer, electrical, which stick around to the end of the video because we want to go over some important information that you probably don't want to know when it comes to those hookups. But as far as everything goes, for our weekend here, it was pretty quiet overall.
Yeah.
The one thing that we did notice, and again, it's not a deal breaker, but some of these site areas for RVs are very packed in. Especially there's a few pull-through sites. We're going to take you down to this loop where we are at 107. And the pull-through sites, boy, your picnic table is right on top of someone's slide. There's really no room. In fact,
And
when
on
we
the
were
other side, they're by the sewer thing.
yeah, so you kind of like, we had a nice couple and their friends next to us. We're in 107, they're 108, and they had a party by our sewer hose. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where because it's so tight, they have those issues. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But we'll take you down there and we'll show you. And here's more of those cabins. And these are smaller ones, and they're on, you know, a little bit on the older side. On this side here, you have some back-end sites here. So I'm trying not to run. Because Carrie's saying that when we do these videos, that I tend to walk pretty fast.
He's off and running.
But here you have some interesting holding tanks, which this is what I was talking about. And we'll cover that in a couple of minutes and why that's important. But as you see, site 60, 61, they're fairly decent sites. It's one of the only KOAs I've been to where they put the fire rings up after everybody's done, so you don't come to a water pit as opposed to a fire pit. But, you know, all in all, the campground has, like I said at the beginning of the video, the campground has that campy 50s feel. You know, I would have showed you the bathrooms, but
They were full.
you're not missing much. So the bathrooms here were probably one of the oldest bathrooms that we had seen. They're basically knotty pine everywhere, and it's very small, very cramped. Yeah, and that's basically, you know. But if you're gonna run in, you gotta make a tinkle and get out. it's not so bad. But if you're going to hang out, yeah, I don't recommend that. But these here are the pull-through sites on the right. As you can see, they're pretty much right on top of each other. And it gets a little worse down we get below. But this here is our site here, which is 107. Fairly big site, and you can see we pulled all the way to the right, because all the way to the right is basically the most level. And you also have your hookups back here. So you have your standard pedestal, a 30 amp service, and things of that nature. So, and back of the Mini, and then there's carry. So now it's going to bring us to a couple other things. So we tend to use KOAs on the road because KOAs give us a lot of flexibility. KOAs have the app, which is fantastic, and they also give us perks because we acquire points and stuff like that, and being a
And it's nice for a last minute.
Yeah, it has been great for us on the road, and one of the things we look forward to with the KOAs is Wi-Fi and just those little comforts. This is where it gets a little disappointing. So cost here was $56 a night, and for Vermont, that's really good. We saw that with Moose River was about that $53 camp price there for campsite. Jeez, a little disheveled this morning, probably because I haven't had a shower, which I'm going to cover right now. So here, the cable was fantastic.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi doesn't work at all. And the funny part is they charge for the Wi-Fi.
I was going to say, if you want it, you have to pay for it. And even then.
They do give you, I think, a couple of hours free per day, something like that, which you would say, oh, that's great. But it's not, because it won't even load text-based email. For those of you who've been around the channel for a while, Carrie and I travel the country. We pick up items for resale. And we have a couple of stores on eBay that fund some of these projects and these adventures, and we can't get on eBay to check our sales. So that's pretty rough. Never mind trying to log into a work VPN. Just had a colleague who couldn't work, and if the internet worked here, I could jump on for a little bit and help, but sorry. So that brings us to part number 2, in which I alluded to earlier, is the water situation. So we hooked up here, and because we were close to our last departure point, I did not fill the tanks up. And normally I do fill up with like a fresh water, fill up our fresh water tank so that we have it, just in case, because you never know, campground could be out of water, something could happen, right? I didn't do that this time. And so we got here and hooked up our water and our pressure regulator and everything else, and Carrie and I opened the water up, and it smelled like rotten eggs. Bad, like really bad. And at first I said, well, maybe something's in our lines, whatever. And we ran it so much we had to dump our tank, and it didn't get any better. And it smelled so bad that it took us about a good 3 hours with the fantastic fans going.
Some Febreze, some candles.
It was just to
horrible.
Clear that smell out.
Horrible.
And that smell has gotten into everything that we've touched. Carrie, wash her hair.
I wash my hair.
Her hair
I smell
smells
like rotten eggs, between rotten eggs and a wet dog.
Yeah,
it's
really
kind of,
it's a really obnoxious smell.
And it's just gross. Our
dishes from dinner last night smelled so much so that we were afraid. We had these beautiful steaks, and we were going to make the steaks, but we want to put the steaks on the plate because the plate smelled. So it's one of those things where this is a KOA, and we've seen this. Old Orchard Beach is one that was a KOA that has now converted over to Sun Resorts or something like that. And we've gotten emails from KOA on quite a few of these places that have just decided they're not going to be KOAs anymore. This is one that, although the people are decent here and everything, this should not be a KOA. Like, this is not what you would expect for a KOA. I think it's a great campground for Vermont as far as a mom and pop campground.
Yeah, the area is beautiful. The people at check-in were really, really sweet.
And they have one of the best stocked camp stores. I can't leave that out. Their camp store is amazing.
We had nice neighbors. Other than that,
This is
I
one of those
wouldn't come
weekends
back.
where if we weren't locked in, we would have been gone by now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because for the area, and if you go back over the last couple of weeks, we've taken you through Lake Bomoseen State Park and also Half Moon Campground. We would have stayed there if they had hookups, but we actually needed the hookups this weekend. I have videos to upload, I had stuff to do, and we can't. And on top of it, Carrie and I smell horrible. It's just bad. And we thought, well, maybe it's the site. And we went up to the bathrooms, and we try not to use the bathhouses either. But we went in there, and it smells like eggs there too. And then that prompted me to double check the reviews on KOA's website just to see. And I had to do this off-site because internet doesn't work here. And it was basically the same things. And sometimes I take those reviews with a grain of salt too. Now this is a first for us because if you've been following the channel, we've been up and down the country, and we stay predominantly at KOAs, and this is the first bad experience we've had. That speaks volumes as far as we're concerned about KOAs.
Yeah, I can't.
If you're looking for a mom and pop campground and you have a pop-up, or you want to do some tent camping,
You bring your own water.
and you can do that. This is a great place. If you're looking for something where you're like us, where you work from the road, and you just want to be in nature on the lake and enjoy your time,
Want to turn off,
you can't do anything, any kind of work or anything
No.
here, and that stinks because
literally.
we do. So if you made it this far in the video, we thank you for watching. We do appreciate each and every one of you. We passed the 900 mark and we're rocketing to 1,000. If you've experienced something like this before, drop a comment below, let us know. And if you're new here to the channel, consider subscribing. And
We're not negative all the time.
no, please, this is
This
not
was very
indicative.
difficult to. We were all morning going, okay, so there are some nice things, but the bad outweighed the good.
We
in
try
this
not to
one.
do negative videos, but this is one where
Yeah, it's gross.
you're doing the video because it's part of our channel and why we stay and we do these things. And there's a lot of people who write to us and go, wow, thank you for the recommendation, because this is great. This is one I would feel terrible if I didn't say something about, because your whole family goes out smelling like eggs. You can't have that. And there's some really nice restaurants along the route here, Lake House and a few of those,
just can't.
that you can't go in there smelling like this. It's bad. So yeah. So from Lake Bomoseen KOA, I am Bob,
I'm Carrie.
and this has been 25 Plus Life. We'll see you next week.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still